Hello YouTube! This time we are going to try to fix this old Willys Jeep. I got this one last year and drove it throughout half the winter. Unfortunately the clutch gave up in the middle of the winter, and it was too cold outside, and I didn't really know how to tackle it, fix it. So I waited until the snow was gone. I can see a little bit snow in the background actually, but it's warm out now. So this is 1957 Willys FC-150. So it's FC stands for forward control. This car actually started its life in a nearby city as I think it's for hauling timber. It belonged to SCA, Swedish Cellulosa Aktiebolag, and it had a winch in the back that's driven to the PTO, and it was delivered, I don't know exactly, it's manufactured in Ohio in 1957, so I don't know when exactly it arrived in Sweden, but it was in their hands I think just 4 years, and after that a neighbor to my place in this village I live in got it, I think 1962. He bought it, and he had a workshop fixing cars and such, and he had this one for towing and helping people that had driven off the road, and I would guess he then could tow it back to his workshop to fix those cars. So he reused the winch, and we will see in the end of this episode how it's supposed to work. Right now, when I'm doing this job, I did not get the PTO or the winch to work at all. So I will look into that too, to see what's wrong with it. As I said, I think he bought it in 1962, and he had it his whole life. It was just a few hundred meters from where I live, and from 1962 until 2022 I think he passed away, and his nearest relatives, although they loved the car and it was his car, but they neither one of them felt like they needed it or wanted to drive it, and I don't think, probably there would be some other relatives that would want it or so, but they felt like I knew the guy, and they felt like, well, they wanted to stay in the village, not be sold off and go somewhere else. It's part of where I live. So they asked me if you want it, it's free, and they were about to sell his house and everything. So I said, yeah, I want it. So I got it for free. Super nice of them. So as I said, it functioned. It had been sitting for like a year when I got it, but he drove it everywhere. So from 1962 to 2022, I think. He just drove it, but he didn't tow any cars for the last 20, 30 years. He just used it for transportation and such. I drove it. It was just getting fuel in it and some small stuff, and then I just drove it half the winter until the clutch blew out. So we're going to fix that now. And I don't know if you know your Willys FC-150, maybe you can spot already that there's something off with this vehicle. It got a Volvo engine and a Volvo transmission. So I think it's a Volvo B-Jet, and I think the transmission is M40. And the funny thing about this, I'm not sure, but I think the Swedish army had a car called Volvo Valp. It's a nickname, I don't know the exact number on them, but generally people just say Volvo Valp, Volvo Puppy, roughly translated. And they were four-wheel drive, and I think they had the same four-wheel drive system bought from Dana 18, I think this one is called. I'm not sure about this, but I think that's the case. And since it were on those and they had the Volvo engine, you can buy a Volvo transmission and make it fit to this Dana. So I think he rebuilt it in the 80s somewhere with this Volvo engine instead. So and this transmission, originally this was a 3-speed transmission, now it's a 4-speed. And of course high and low and everything, so. So here I am rather confused. The clutch seems super, nothing wrong with the clutch, what I can see, and the pressure plate seems to be all the way out, even though the clutch doesn't work. So here I'm just wondering what to do and what's wrong with it. It's the arm from the clutch lever or something. So here's just the alignment tool. And I've actually found an extra clutch and pressure plate in the garage. The previous owner did not spend any money on this one. If he didn't have to, it was a work car and it shouldn't cost any money. So I thought that well, let's do the same. Let's not buy new stuff for this one. So I just took an old good clutch I found in the garage and mounted that one instead. Now it's just time to reassemble everything. I did struggle a lot with one of the prop shafts. I think it was the one to the rear end. It was way too long, in my opinion. So I both pulled back the back axle, and I had to pull the engine forward as much as the motor mounts were willing to bend over, just to get the prop shaft back on. So that did take some time and effort from me. It's surprisingly rust-free for what it is, this car. I don't see any welding on the frame or anything. There are some kind of reinforcement plates on the top of the rails. He just have spot welded on there, but I think that's just reinforcement. I can't see any rust holes or anything. We will clean it later on and oil everything, so maybe you can see better then. Here you can see that this shift linkage goes on top here, and that's not the original. And yeah, I'm going to test drive now and see if the clutch works. And when I'm putting back the back end of the pickup, I will have to take off the linkage to the gearbox again to make it work. So this is just to test if it's drivable. Been sitting for like 4 months now, so it needed a little bit help to get started. So as far as the test drive here, I can't find anything faulty with the clutch now. So what made it do this, I don't know, but it's super sketchy when I'm out in this car. It's you sit on front of the axle like a lorry, a truck in Sweden, and the wheels are kind of narrow compared to the chassis. So it looks very funny when you come driving this one, but yeah, it's a cool car. And those discs you see up in the roof, those are tax discs to prove that you paid tax on the car, and they are from, I think one was from 67 and one was 62, and both are for the old number plates. I think the new number plates came there 67, 68. So yeah, it's a real old car, and it was, as I said, the same owner throughout the whole of its life. So cleaning, I've been talking about this one on other projects. Why don't I clean things first on the proper place, so I don't get so damn filthy? And now I did. Not maybe in the very correct order, but it didn't run before, so I had no choice. But now it's cleaning time. So I did this one to see how the frame was too. So if there was any rust or anything, but yeah, it was real nice. There you can see how narrow the wheels are. Still no problems with the shifter. It's very loud inside the cabin because I don't have the engine cover on. It's loud either way, but now it's even more loud than it usually is. You sure don't want to be in a car accident in one of these cars. It's even worse than a Beetle. You see the headlight, the right headlight assembly, and it's just the thickness of that metal between you and the one you hit, or the thing you hit. So yeah, I don't drive it as much at the big road. It's mainly down in the village, so the speeds aren't that high. So here I am topping off the oil in the Dana Spicer. I remember it leaked a lot. After I did this one, it dripped a lot afterwards. So there are some seals that, and from what I know, heard, these Danas are notorious for oil leaks. So it's old stuff. So you can't really blame it. Oh, here we're back again. I think I filled it with oil, and when it overflowed on where I filled it, it came out a little bit hazy in the color. So I just changed out all the oil in it, drained it, and filled it again. Here I am fixing the PTO engagement. This arm did not move. I don't really know if it's jumped over or anything, but now I have reassembled it and fixated it, so it should engage the cogs inside. So here I am trying to get it in, it's in gear in the front gearbox and not in gear on the Dana Spicer. So you probably should do this with the engine off. I'm trying here, but there are no synchro gears or anything, so you probably should engage it and start the engine. Do it that way. Yeah, brute force. That prop shaft is a little bit wobbly. So here I am trying the winch, and it's the PTO clutch goes to, and the winch, and the winch itself have an engagement and unhooking and unengagement lever 2, but if I unengaged it, what's the right word for that? It free spins, so you can pull out more wire, for example. But I haven't figured out if I engage the PTO and engage the wire, and let's say I'm towing a car from the ditch. If I disengage the wire drum, the car that I'm trying to lift will roll back. There's no brake that engages on the winch when it's not turning. So the only way I found out how I could do this in some safe manner is just engaging everything, picking the right gear, starting the car with this one engaged and everything, and when I'm feeling like no more wire, stop, I just turn off the engine. So hook it to a car and stand by the front door ready to just shut off the car. That's the only way I found to do this. Here you can see the wire system a little bit better, engaging and unengaging, and you see it free rolls when it's not engaged. So yeah, a little bit weird. I'm used to, if a winch, when you shut it off, it's some kind of brake that's stopping it from moving further in any direction. So this is just a plywood pickup part. I did lift it with the gasoline tank. You can't really see it here, but it's in the right upper corner. There's a fuel tank, and of course not the original one. It's some homemade from another car, like most parts of this truck. So here I'm placing back the tow rig, and it's homemade, of course. Couldn't buy this kind of stuff. He made his own tow truck from this parts, and it's a lot of different parts, I may say. But it certainly worked. He had it for 70 years almost, so it's proven itself. No question about that. I think I did this in the wrong order, and I fixed it later on in the video. I don't remember exactly. So this is the part with the wheel, so you can lift instead of straight back in the winch. You can alter it so you lift instead with a little bit of angle. So when you winched up the car, you put the wire through this one instead and lift it. So you just drag it instead. That's the part that goes under the car. So you put that one on the red part here and put it on under the front axle of the car and lifts. That's the other part. There's just an extra cover for the gearbox that wasn't there originally. I haven't tried to tow anything yet, but I will have to try it. So this is what you could call a winter tire back in the day, and as I said, nothing has changed on this car. It's the same stuff that's always been on it. So and it's originally on this wheel is this left-hand tread on the wheel on the left side of the car, and I for the life of me I don't know what they were thinking when they put left-hand tread. It doesn't matter. There is no force on the. It's out of the centrum of the wheel. I understand from a lawnmower or something that runs counterclockwise when the bolt is in the middle, but these bolts are away from the center. So it just doesn't make sense. And to top it off, one bolt on the other side have been exchanged. So one of those 8 wheel studs on the other side is a right-hand tread, and 2 bolts are of smaller size, repurposed from some other vehicles. I have to, when I'm testing later on plug nuts, I had to have 2 different and remember to look for the one with the right-hand tread. So I test it on the right direction. Here you can see the gasoline tank I talked about on the side of the car. as I said, it's been fixed some rust in the chassis, but the frame and everything looks really good, so it's really nice. And the handbrake and all the brakes and everything works on it, so I think we are at the end of the video here. Could you do me a favor and please let me know if you like this kind of where I just talk over the video. If you like that more instead of music and me saying in the intro, just voiceover instead like this. If this works better for you guys. So yeah, please comment and tell me if this is a good concept or you like the other video type better. So that's that. Thanks for watching and see you on another episode. Bye bye!